How's it going? Welcome to my very first ever learning show. And if you don't already know me, where have you been? My name's Carrie Ann. I'm an ever so slightly crazy scientist. We're going to be doing a little bit of serious science learning, but not too serious. Um, I'm excited, guys. I'm not a huge owl fan. I'm not even a huge snake fan. Expelliarmus, but I am a huge Harry Potter fan. So when I heard about the AQA unit award scheme and I found out that one of the units was called The Science of Slytherin, it obviously had to be the first one that I chose to do. So if you're here watching me right now, I can only assume you love science and you're quite interested in Harry Potter. If you are, you're in the right place. If you're not, it's still going to be really good. So I would hang about. I'm going to tell you a few housekeeping things, so things that are going to help you through this new style of learning show. Let me just grab the PowerPoint so you can have a little look. I'm going to help you guys as much as possible. So most of the PowerPoints should look like this. Let's have a little look. So you should be able to see this. So we are doing the Science of Slytherin. It's a 5-week unit, 5 learning shows. Um, I'm so excited. And this week, we are going to be looking at Serpents and Survival. That is the title of our learning show this week. But a couple of things that are going to help you through this. You will always see a QR code on nearly every one of my slides. That will take you directly to our interactive workbook. So there's a few activities you can do on the interactive workbook. You can either do it during the learning show or you can do it afterwards in your own time. If you click send on any of the questions, I'll receive your answers as well, and I can see how you're getting on. There is also, as you can see on the screen, a list of practical equipment. That is for today's learning show. Now, you've not had any notice of what to get for this, so don't worry if you can't get any of this. But if you've got a grown-up nearby or someone else nearby who thinks they might be able to go and find you these things, then maybe go and grab them. Pencil and paper is going to be useful for every learning show. But today, if you want to take part in the practical side of things, a ruler would be useful for one of our activities, just a ruler, nothing else. One of our other activities is going to include pipettes or droppers and maybe some coloured water and either cotton wool, a sponge or kitchen roll and something to put it in. I'm using a beaker, you could use a cup, a glass, a plate, whatever. That's another activity. And also, if you can get like a squashy thing, like a stress ball, a squashy creature, I don't know, a ball of socks, a small towel, and maybe a timer. That's going to be our third sort of hands-on activity. But don't worry if you can't get any of those things right now. You can watch me do them, and I'll give you the list for next time's learning show. I'll give it you at the end of this. At the very end of this learning show, there will be another QR code for an optional Kahoot quiz to see how much you've learnt. And you can do that at your own leisure. I'll tell you more about that at the end. It's on the last slide of my PowerPoint. It's also on the last page of your interactive workbook. Each block in these new learning shows that we're doing link to an AQA unit award. And before we finish each lesson, I will tell you what evidence you can collect from each of those lessons to tick off progress towards that unit award. So the first thing I would do right now if I was you is if you can send someone off to get any of the equipment that you want to get. Don't worry about it if you can't. Scan the QR code. Probably works best if you've got another device. So for instance, I'm on a laptop and I've got my phone. It might be that you're on a computer with a tablet, or you might have two tablets or a tablet and a phone, whatever. But if you can't access both at once, get the QR code, save the little link, and you can do it afterwards. Okay. So here we are, serpents and survival. So I've brought a few little props. Like I said, I think I'll always have my wand and my head wig with me in every lesson. I'm probably not going to have snakes with me every lesson because this one's particularly about snakes today. Whoa, the camera's going crazy. But this one is about snakes. I wanted to try and dress for the occasion. Um, so I've got my little, it's not Slytherin. It's not technically even Harry Potter. It's, what's it say? wizard school. Not breaking any trademarks here. But yeah, I wanted to dress for the occasion. This is actually belongs to my 10-year-old, and I can't get my arms in the armholes, so I've just put it on as a cloak. But there we go. That's the effort. That's the effort I've gone to. And I've got this really big snake for today's lesson. I don't think it's based on a a real snake, but we'll find out. We will find out. Right, let's go, let's go. Let's get cracking. Okay. So by the end of this learning show, I'm hoping that you guys can name one viper and one constrictor, describe how they hunt, and know and explain at least two different adaptation of each type of snake, and hopefully how those adaptations help them to survive and thrive. Now, why is this Slytherin science? The reason why it's Slytherin science is we all know that Slytherins are a little bit sneaky. They're very cunning and they're very clever. They're really good at observing carefully, choosing a really smart strategy, and then acting at the right moment. And today's learning show kind of explains how snakes survive by doing exactly that. I actually think that Slytherin students would make very excellent scientists, especially their observation skills. Okay, here we go. There's two broad categories of snake that we're going to be looking at today. We're going to be looking at snakes that strike and snakes that squeeze. So some snakes, they survive by striking fast, pew pew, and some survive by squeezing their prey to death. Now, in your interactive learning book, I'm going to show you because it's the first time I've used them, and it might be the first time you've used them. So let's have a little look. You'll notice that the interactive workbook looks a little bit like my PowerPoint. It's not got the whole thing in. It's got the bits in that you need. So down at the bottom here, I can click through some pages. Yours might look a little bit different. Okay, because I'm in the editing version here. So I'm just going to look at what it might look like for you guys. Now, on some of these pages, there are things to do. There might be buttons to click, quizzes to do, things to write. So on this one, you can find out a little bit more about snakes that strike and snakes that squeeze. So I'm going to show you what you can do on the first one. So on this one, the one on the left, the type of snake this is a type of viper. And if you click on here, you'll get a little bit more information about the viper. So this is the one that strikes. It's fast, it's precise. It's fast, it's precise, it's efficient. Vipers can strike quickly, inject venom, and move away whilst the venom starts to work. It is best for sort of ambush hunting. It reduces the risk of injury to the actual snake, and it catches the prey quite quickly. Now, I'm not going to click on the other one. That's for you to do. But I was just giving you a little sneak preview into what the interactive workbook looks like. But if we go back to my little PowerPoint, this is going to get quite hard because both the slides look the same. But if we go back to my PowerPoint, you can see that the snake on the left, the green one, is a viper, a striking one that uses venom to kill its prey. And the one on the right, the sort of browny, beigey one, that is a constrictor. So it's going to be able to squeeze its prey with its powerful muscles. So that's kind of what we're looking at for the majority of this lesson, the difference between these two different types of snake. So you can have a go at clicking on those photographs on your interactive workbook just for some extra information. Okay, now we're going to look at the viper in a little bit more detail. So, like I said, it uses this strike strategy. It has fangs, long, hollow fangs to inject the venom into its prey, a bit like straws, or rather, a bit like needles. So once they pierce into the skin of the creature it's trying to kill, it can then inject the venom. And what it does, it's often camouflaged and hides in the undergrowth, wherever it happens to be, trying to blend in with its surroundings so the prey that it's going to try and kill can't see it. And then what it does, it strikes quickly, bam, bites in, releases the venom, and then it'll move away. And it'll wait. It will wait until the venom has acted. That might be seconds or minutes. And when the prey has died, unfortunately, and stops moving, the snake will then return and it will be able to hopefully eat the prey. Now, what I will say is there are a couple of photographs in here that might make you go, ugh, a little bit. Just giving you that pre-warning. Okay. Now it says you need to know the difference between two different types of snakes. So we've introduced the idea of a viper, but we're going to go into a bit more detail now. I'm going to talk about one viper in particular, and this is the gaboon viper. And the gaboon viper appealed to me because apparently it has the longest fangs of any snake. And I cannot like lie. I'm just going to get my little pen. Just look. Oh my goodness. Look at those. Can you imagine? Wow, those getting pierced into your arm. What the heck? I would be a little bit scared if I saw that. And the gaboon snake, like most vipers, injects powerful venom in a single fast strike. And like most vipers, has excellent camouflage to kind of blend in to the forest floor, to blend into its surroundings. And it does, it will wait and wait and wait and strike at just the right time. Now, interestingly enough, I was talking to someone yesterday and they were like, what is the difference between poison and venom? I was like, that is a good question. So it wasn't necessarily in the plan for this, but why not discuss that right now? So usually we use the term venom, or if something's venomous, if that thing bites you and injects the venom into you. We tend to use the word poison if we ingest that thing. So the good example that I was given yesterday was a snake is venomous, a frog could be poisonous. So a snake is going to bite and inject you with venom. You might, for whatever weird reason, you might lick a frog. And if you lick a poisonous frog, the poison is going to get into you. So it's kind of two different ways of delivering. We might have to just say goodbye to the snake for a second. It's acting like a really warm scarf. So there we go. I'm gonna just get rid of that. It's very hot. Very hot. I'll keep my cloak on though. So venom and poison. So a little bit of good English words for the for you there as well. Back to the PowerPoint. Oh, I'll tell you what, on your interactive workbook right now, let's just have a look at the interactive workbook. What you can do is, oh, am I going to give it away a little bit? Let me just stop the screen because I don't want to give away where there's some secret things on the next page of your workbook. Let me just find it and let me pop it on the screen so you don't see where the secrets are. There we go. I've got it on the screen now. So in your workbook, let's have a look. You'll see this screen now, and it says, see if you can find 3 adaptations of the Gaboon Viper and search for the hidden buttons. So what do I mean by that? I'll show you where one is, okay? If you take your mouse or your finger and you're looking on your device, you might notice my arrow changes to a pointer. When I got to the fangs, can you see the arrow change to a pointer? And you can click and it will give you some little facts about that part of the snake. So it's your job to see if you can find the other 2 hidden adaptations when you're reading through your interactive workbook. Now it's nearly time for you guys to do a little bit of work. So let's see what your first challenge is. And the first challenge, honestly, is going to be for me to stay quiet for 5 minutes. I might even mute myself for the next bit. Let's have a little look. So it is now your turn. Okay. You can either do this during the lesson, you are going to have a full 5 minutes to do it, or you can do it after the lesson, or you can do a bit of both. If I was you, I'd at least start this task right now because you can have 5 minutes during this to do it. If you don't finish it, you can do it afterwards. But your challenge is to draw a gaboon viper. There's a picture on screen, but you could look one up yourself. I'd like you to try and label 2 adaptations. Now, if you go onto your interactive workbook, there are 3 hidden on that picture. And then you can explain how they help it survive. Some useful words might be fangs, venom, camouflage. And you don't need to write much, like 1 sentence is enough. And on your interactive workbook, on the page that looks a bit like this, there is space for you to write at least one of your sentences if you want to share that with me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the timer, which is the bar on the screen. You'll see that bar getting filled up, and I'm going to leave that on. And then for the last minute, I will, well, maybe not actually. I'll flick to the interactive workbook at the end. So you've got 5 minutes to draw a Gaboon Viper. Remember, we're scientists here, we're not artists. It doesn't have to look amazing. Label on at least two adaptations. Explain how those adaptations help it survive. Useful keywords include fangs, venom, and camouflage, and then write one sentence per adaptation. If you then want to share that in the interactive workbook, there is a space on this page where you can write a sentence about its adaptation and you can share that with me. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute myself because I find it really difficult to not talk whilst you guys are doing some work. But the timer's going. You've probably got about 4 and a bit minutes left. So I'm going to mute and let you guys get on with a bit of the work. As you can probably tell, it's really hard for me to stay quiet. 5 minutes feels an awful long time to be quiet. But just let you know, we're about halfway through this 5 minutes. Expecto Patronum. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think that time is working anymore. Luckily, I've got a timer running on my desk, and I think we're nearly at 5 minutes. I think that timer stopped partway through, but I've got a timer running, so I know how long we've been on for. But I will take extra good care at looking at that next time. So hopefully you have had a go at drawing your Gaboon Viper. And on the interactive workbook, let's just head back to that. There we go. On the interactive workbook, you can, if you want, you can write a sentence about the Gaboon Viper and one of its adaptations. And when you click send, that will send it to me. So there you go. You can do that as well. Right. On to our next one. Let's have a little look. Yeah, that timer definitely stopped. Doesn't matter. I will keep an eye on my stopwatch next time. These timers are good. They're really good when they work. And there we go, it's ended. Okie dokie. Right, now it's time to meet the constrictor type of snake. Now, these types of snake, they like to squeeze. They will wrap themselves around its prey and they will use their strong muscles to squash around the prey. And basically, it's not a pretty story. They're going to use its strong muscles to squash the prey. And this kind of does two jobs. It stops the prey from breathing. If you think about how you breathe right now, let's just have a think about this. If you think about how you breathe, that's a bit of biology. If you put your hands on your ribs, let's just bring that down a second. If you put your hands on your ribs, oh, maybe I'll just stand up, and you breathe in, you notice when you breathe in, your ribs move. Come very close up. Your ribs move up and out. So if you're an animal that's breathing in, oh my God, why am I so zoomed in? It might zoom back out in a minute. If you're an animal and you're trying to breathe, your ribs are moving up and out. But if something is squashing you, your ribs aren't going to be able to move up and out. So if you're an animal that's trying to breathe and you're being squashed, by some sort of constrictor type of snake, you're not going to be able to breathe. As well as stopping you from breathing, it will probably prevent blood from flowing around your body as well. So that's kind of a double whammy. It can prevent blood flow and it can stop you breathing. Now, the next picture is a bit of a grim one, so I'm just pre-warning you. The next picture is showing a snake eating its prey whole, because that's what they do. When the prey has died, as in it stopped breathing, the snake will open its mouth very wide, maybe even dislocate its jaw, and it will engulf the prey absolutely whole. And we've got a little picture of that on the next slide. So if you don't want to see that, look away now. Okay. So we for our viper, we looked at the Gaboon viper, but for the constrictor, I've picked the boa constrictor. So you can see here, it's swallowing its prey whole. Looks like some sort of mousy, ratty thing, perhaps. So yeah, they have very strong muscles that can squeeze the prey really tightly. It will constrict the prey to cut off its breathing and cut off the blood flow. That's where the word constrictor comes from. And again, just like the viper, actually, a similarity they've got is that, again, they are camouflaged really well with their surroundings, so they can hide whilst they are hunting. So these adaptations help the boa constrictor hunt successfully without the use of venom, because you would think venom is really good because you're just going to inject this toxin into your prey and it'll die. The constrictors don't have that. They have a different method. Now, on your interactive workbook, what you can do on here, we've got a little closed passage. What I mean by that is sort of a fill in the blanks. So you can go to your workbook and you can, once you've had a look at the constrictor picture there, you can have a go at doing in this filling in the blanks. You literally just drag and drop those keywords into the sentences. And when you think you've got it right, you can just hit send and that again will send over to me. And hopefully you'll have picked up 3 key facts about the constrictor. Now, I think it's nearly time. I think it's nearly time to do some practical work. But before we do that, we have got a little task for you. Your task. Very similar to the Gaboon Viper. I would like you to draw a boa constrictor. And again, I would like you to label on two adaptations. Explain how that helps it survive. My good keywords for you on this one are muscles, constriction, and camouflage. And again, one sentence per adaptation is enough. We're not artists here, we're scientists. It's a diagram, doesn't have to be a work of art. And then if you've got time or you want to do the interactive workbook, you can share one of your sentences with me. Now, I am going to start the timer, but I'm not convinced it's going to work. So I am going to refer to the timer on my phone. Okay, it's on 26, nearly 27. Okay, so we'll be going for 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, about 31, nearly 32 minutes on this. I'll keep holding it up occasionally, then you know how long you've got left, but you have got 5 minutes to have a go at that task, and then we're heading into practical stuff. So I've set the timer. I'm going to mute myself so I don't constantly talk through for the next 5 minutes. But if you do both of these tasks, that is a big chunk of evidence if you're doing the AQA Unit Award. But if not, it's still a cool thing to do. I'm not convinced that timer's working. There we go. I've got the timer on the screen anyway. We are just about halfway through our 5 minutes. So at 30 minutes and 30 seconds, that'll be halfway through. We're going to stop at 32 minutes. Are we halfway through? Or have I just done some bad maths? Anyway, there we go. Luckily, it's not a maths lesson. Ding, 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 ding. That's your 5 minutes. I think what I'll do, guys, is for our next learning show, maybe try and get a stopwatch on screen because these little timers, they've let me down. They're not working, but that's okay. So hopefully you've had a go at drawing a boa constrictor. You could have looked it up online or used the picture that was on the screen. And if you'd like to, in your interactive workbook, you can add, hold on, where are we going? You can, oh, it's gone so far back. There we go. You can add in your little sentence about the boa constrictor and one of its adaptations and how that helps it to survive. Now, I'm getting quite excited because if you know me, you know I can't really teach many science lessons without getting a little bit hands-on. And that doesn't include just toy snakes and toy owls, actual real science. So let's do some real science. Let's have a little look. The real science has obviously got to link. Choo! Sounds like something off our futuristic film. Now, the real science has obviously got to link to what we're doing about today. We're doing about snakes. We're doing about how they adapt and survive. So we're going to do, for our first activity, we're going to do the Viper Strike speed test. Now, if you're on your own, you might struggle to do this. You'll see me struggle doing it in a minute. It's almost impossible. But if you've got someone else with you, a sibling, a grown-up, a friend, a relative, whatever, then that person can help you. Because what I want you to do is I want to see how quick your reaction times are. Because a viper's reaction time, super quick. So what we're going to do, I'll explain the little practical first, and then we're going to have a few minutes to do it, and I'll have a go as well, even though I can't do it properly. You're going to ask the person who you're with to drop the ruler, but they're not going to tell you when they're going to drop it. And as soon as they've dropped it, you've got to try and catch it between your finger and your thumb. I'll show you how to do this in a minute. You're then going to look at the sort of number of centimeters where you caught it. Now, the fewer the centimeters or the lower the centimeter number you grab, the faster your reaction time. The bigger the number, the longer it took you. So I'm going to demonstrate it first, and then I'm going to give you a few minutes to do it. So what you should be doing is you should just be sat somewhere comfortable, and you're going to have your hands like this. Now, ideally, you want the person who's dropping the ruler, they want to be holding it. Oh, the ring light's shining a bit. Let's go. They want to be holding it so that the 0 centimeters is at the bottom and 30 is at the top if it's a 30 centimeter ruler. And you want your finger and thumb sort of at the 0. So when the ruler drops, you can just grab it with your finger and thumb. Now I'm going to drop it now and show you what I mean and how to catch it. However, it's not going to test my reaction time because my brain knows when I'm going to let go of it and then I'll be able to catch it really easily. If someone else is holding and dropping the ruler for you, you're not going to know when it's being dropped. They're not going to give you any warning. And the only thing you've got to go off is your vision, your eyes, to see the ruler moving. And as soon as you see that ruler moving, you strike like our viper snake. Okay, so I'm going to do one quick demo and then I'm going to give you 3 minutes to maybe do it a handful of times. And write down what you get. Write down the centimeters you get. So this is my test version. So I've got my finger and thumb, everything at eye level. We've obviously not got another person here. And then the other person's going to drop it when you least expect it, and then you're going to catch it. Chances are it'll fall quite far for you. Then what you've got to do is you've got to decide what centimeters it's on. Now you can see my finger's quite fat. So I've got to decide, oh, it's not fat, I mean, but it's fatter than a centimeter. So you've got to decide where you're going to be measuring from. You want to measure from the same place every time. In science, we like to be consistent. We like our readings to be the same. Now, it doesn't matter if I measure from the bottom of my thumb, the top of my thumb, the top of my finger, or the bottom of my finger, as long as I do it the same every time. So, example, if I measure from the top of my thumb on this one, it's hard to see because I don't bend that way, but it is at 7 centimeters. If I do another one, just for a little example, I go to the top of my thumb again, and that's at 9 centimeters. So I would write down 7 centimeters and 9 centimeters as my first one. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to do that. I'll put the instructions back on the screen for you, and then we'll keep a little eye on the time. It's now 37 minutes on my timer. So I'll give you till 40 minutes on my timer to have a go at doing that and writing down your results, and I'll keep myself quiet. Time's nearly up. Hopefully, you've had quite a few goes of that. We're nearly at 40 minutes. So just while that last 10 seconds is going, we'll have a little look at the interactive workbook. And if you want to share some of your data with me, that would be amazing. So what you can do is on the interactive workbook, you can tell me what your lowest measurement was in centimeters and what does that tell you about your reaction speed. To take the investigation further, you could try different people in your house, or you could test other people like friends and relatives and see who has the quickest reaction. You can also, if you're feeling super curious, you can go and look up on the internet. You can turn it into actual reaction times, and you could maybe compare yourself to a snake if you go and do a little bit of research to see how quick the snake was, and then you can work out how quick you were as well. So remember, the lower the centimeters, the quicker your reaction time. The higher the centimeters, the slower your reaction time. If you didn't catch the ruler, you might have quite slow reactions, but sometimes very young people are not very good at catching the ruler. So it might be to do with your age rather than your reaction time. Phew. Let's see what's next. This is the one I've been looking forward to. Activity 2 is the venom delivery test. So what we're going to do, I'm going to give you some time to do it, but you can probably do it at the same time as me. So I'm probably not going to stay here for 3 minutes and wait. But what we're going to do, we're going to fill a pipette. I'm going to fill two because I wanted it to look like fangs with coloured water. We're going to gently squeeze the pipette once and we're going to release the liquid onto cotton wool, a sponge, or kitchen roll. Now, you might want to put this on a plate, a tray, or in a glass or a beaker. I've got mine in a beaker. And when you do this, you want to think about how the liquid spreads, okay? And we're just going to do that. I'm going to stop sharing. We're going to just get on with that straight away. Now, I seem to have my camera on a bit of a weird setting. So how well this is going to work, I don't know. The camera might want to try and focus on me. So what I've got is I've got a little beaker filled with cotton wool. I've got two pipettes that are going to represent chom, my fangs. my snake fangs. And I've got some food coloring in here. So I'm going to bring this down to the desk and hopefully it's not going to try. It's going to try and zoom in on weird things. I might have to change this setting. It might be dynamic, but I don't think it's going to work. I'll be able to hold it up while we're doing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open my food coloring. Top tip for grown-ups who don't like mess. You keep your food coloring in a beaker or a glass. It doesn't really get knocked over. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to hold it up. I'm going to put in my fangs. I'm going to squeeze the pipette. I'm going to unsqueeze it. I know that's not a word, but you know what I mean. Oh, and I realise I've got a broken pipette. So I'll go and get another pipette. It's a good job I'm in here with all my equipment. And I have an almost unlimited supply of science equipment. So I'll put my other pipette in, give that a squeeze. So now you should be able to see I've got two pipettes that are going to represent my two fangs. And I'm going to turn this around. This is going to represent my prey. Okay, and then we're gonna jab those fangs in. We're gonna squeeze, and we're gonna see what happens when the venom is released. I'm probably gonna go for this bit here because there's a little bit of a gap. So, are we ready? I've not tested this, not tested it all. Is it gonna look good? I don't know. Is it gonna work? I don't know. If it's rubbish, you can tell me it's rubbish. I thought it'd be better than a sponge though, because I thought we'd be able to see it. But you can try different materials, different liquids, sponge, kitchen roll, whatever. You try it and you can let me know. Okay, so I'm going to try and not drip everywhere. We're going to bring those fangs in. They jabbed right in then. And then I'm going to gently squeeze. Oh, and you can see. And if we lift the fangs out a bit more, you can see what happens when we hold it a bit higher. And you don't even need to squeeze it that hard. And you can see that's delivered in so nicely. So you can have a go at that. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. It's amazing. I'm going to get some more venom. When I say venom, I mean green food colouring. Look at that. It has been delivered. That is going to be like one dead animal. I'm going to turn it around and pretend we're not a dead animal. I'm going to try and deliver it this time. I'm not going to go in as deep this time. I got excited and really jabbed those in. Let's not be as excited. Let's go a little bit higher. That's better. And we'll squeeze gently. Oh, look at that. That is impressive. That is impressive. I'm going to deliver the rest of it. There you go. What's interesting, actually, if you should think about getting a snake bite, when you look, if you look up, maybe don't look up gross pictures, but get a grown up or someone to find a picture of a snake bite, you just see two nice little neat puncture wounds. But it's crazy how much damage is being done under the surface, how much venom is being delivered. You see how much it's spread out, and on this side, you can see it's spread out even more. So even though we only went in with two little holes, you can see we've injected in so much of the venom. That's pretty good, isn't it? I think it's a pretty good, quick, efficient way of delivering venom into a creature. So let's just have a little look. So I'm not going to give you 3 minutes to do that because I've been waffling on for probably more than 3 minutes anyway. But what I want you to notice is that the liquid is injected right into the prey, right into the animal. It's not poured on top. So like none of it is wasted. None of it is like just is going to fall onto the floor or just slide off the back of the animal. Every drop of that venom is going into that animal. It spreads quite quickly. You saw how quickly that spread out into the cotton wool. That is what would be happening in the body of a prey animal. And actually, you only need a small amount. I could have probably used like half the amount of food coloring and you'd still see quite a dramatic spread of colour. So there you go. How does this link to our vipers? Well, the viper's fangs act like needles. We already said that. Injecting venom deep into the prey. That means that the viper literally strikes once, gets that venom in, moves away and hides again. And when that prey animal has died, it can then come back and return and claim its breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Okay. In the interactive workbook, have I put something? Have I put something in the interactive workbook? I probably have. Let's have a little look what you guys can tell me about. In the interactive workbook, you can tell me, oh, it's a multiple choice question. Why is injecting venom more effective than dripping it on the outside of its prey? You need to choose just one answer and hit the send button, and then I will receive your answer. Now, the last little practical task we've got today, I think, is the most difficult. And again, I haven't tested it, so we're going to see how long I last. I'm a bit of a wimp. I don't think I'm going to last that long. We've done two Viper activities, so I thought I'd best finish on a constrictor activity. We are going to do the grip and hold test. So what you need to do, you need to get something that is quite squashy. I've got myself a stress ball. You could get, like I said, a rolled up sock, a teddy bear, a towel, a flannel, anything that you can squash and hold tightly. And we're going to keep squeezing and hold on for as long as possible. Okay. I've only given us 3 minutes to do this activity. So 3 minutes is the maximum that I'm going to spend doing it, but I don't know if I can even hold something and squash it for 3 minutes. I mean, this dude looks pretty happy right now. I don't think he's going to be when I squash his face in a minute. I'll start on the 48 and we'll see how long I can hold it for. I'm going to grip it as hard as I can. Oh, I'm going to grip it as hard as I can because remember, the boa constrictor is constricting stuff. It's going to wrap around its prey. It's going to use its stronger muscles. It is trying to stop its prey from breathing and stop the blood from flowing. It is constricting the blood flow. It is constricting the breathing. It's really hard to talk and squeeze something really hard at the same time. I've only done 30 seconds. I've got an itchy nose. I've only done 30 seconds. I'm already aching. I'm leaning my arm onto my body because I'm already finding it quite difficult. Can I keep this up for the 3 minutes? I'm almost certain I can't. Look at how white my fingers have gone. Like I'm properly squeezing. I'm gonna do a minute. I'm not going to last much longer than a minute. I'd be really curious to see how long you can do this for. Maybe try it after the lesson. Honestly, I'll tell you what's aching now, whatever this is here, probably a tendon. Because all my muscles, because you've got muscles running down here that are controlling your fingers. Oh, can I get to the halfway mark? Oh my gosh. It's harder than it looks. It is harder than it looks. I'm gonna get to 2 minutes. I'm gonna get to 2 minutes. This is my serious face. Oh my goodness. You know, I've got friends who are climbers and they have like these little grippy things to strengthen their hands. I reckon squeezing one of them would be harder than squeezing a stress ball. I'm not joking, I'm aching. I'm gonna get to the 2 minute mark. It'll be 50 minutes on here, that will be 2 minutes. And next learning show, I'm gonna bring a stopwatch along. Can I make it? I don't know how long I could do this for. Like, I don't know how long a boa constrictor has to wrap around something. Oh, oh my God. My hand's like turned into a claw. Look at that. Oh, oh, and I'm all achy along here. That is really difficult. Boa constrictors must have such strong muscles. Now I'm thinking, if a snake was trying to kill a human, we have a rule of three, don't we? You can last 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. So for a boa constrictor to maybe kill us from lack of oxygen, they need to be doing that for 3 minutes around our whole body, like around, oh, there goes the cloak, around our whole body to stop us from being able to breathe. Honestly, my hand is aching. And that, whatever that muscle is there, I don't know the name of that one. You can't even see me flex it, it's that small. It's this little lumpy one here. But that is aching. I reckon this is going to ache in the morning. Oh, I wasn't. Oh, hello. I've frozen. I froze for a little bit then. Hopefully I didn't ruin anything for you. So there we go. In your interactive workbook, I'd be really interested for you to tell me What was your longest grip time? Did you beat me? I did it for 2 minutes. I'd like you to record your time in seconds if you can. So there's 60 seconds in every minute. I did two. 60 times two is 120. I managed 120 seconds. I said it wasn't a maths lesson. Here we are doing maths. So there are your three activities that you can have a go at. You might have done them along with me, or you might choose to do them after the learning show. So there we go. What you might have noticed is that your muscles got tired the longer you were squeezing for. Holding on takes strength and endurance. It's not for the weak. And it's harder to keep squeezing long, like squeezing for a long time than doing it quickly and then letting go. So remember, constrictors are going to overpower their prey and they're going to be holding on tightly until it can no longer breathe. So they are relying on their own strength. They're not relying on that venom that they're carrying like the vipers. Okay. Right, that's almost brought us to the end of our learning show, which was all about serpents and survival today. If you are doing this as part of an AQA unit award, the Science of Slytherin, which is a level 2 award, the little box we can tick off today is describing the behaviour and adaptations of one viper and one constrictor. I showed you guys the Gaboon viper and the boa constrictor. You could go away and research some others. You could show this in evidence of a drawing, a PowerPoint presentation. You could talk and do a little video. You could make a model, okay? And you'll be able to upload and send those in for us to tick off for you. If you're not doing it as an AQA unit award, that's absolutely fine. I hope you've enjoyed it anyway. You can still do all of those things and do some further research. If you want to join in with the practicals on our next learning show, here's a little bit of a heads up. We are going to be looking at potions and chemical reactions next time, and these things might be quite useful. Bicarbonate of soda, white vinegar. What I mean by that is distilled vinegar, the one that looks like water. Warm water is going to be useful. Sugar, yeast, red cabbage, which is optional because it's a bit of a faffy one. Some clear cups, beakers, or glasses, and a teaspoon. And again, don't worry if you don't have these. I will be doing all of them and you can watch along with me. Now, if you want to, there's an optional Kahoot challenge. You can either scan the QR code that's on the screen right now, or you can use the link below. This will also appear in your interactive workbook. So let's have a little play and see what you've remembered. When you scan the QR code, I would click play solo and scroll down for the type of quiz you want. If you want the one with the choices on screen, like 4 choices, go for the classic quiz. Don't have to do the Kahoot, but it's there if you want it. I hope you've enjoyed our very first learning show, The Science of Slytherin, and this one was focusing on serpents. Next time it's potions, and I'll see you next week for our next show. And I can't wait to see what you guys get up to. Bye!